Hey y'all, Ms. B, and I'm here to recap the downfall of Diddy documentary. I have been hearing, first of all, let's say, it's been a lot of Diddy documentaries, right? So I had already watched the one on Peacock and I was like, it wasn't telling me nothing that I didn't already know. But then I kept hearing like on the Breakfast Club, Lauren LaRosa, who again, they need to hire full time. Okay. Talking about like, hey, did y'all watch it? You know, it's interesting. And I guess it came out in parts or whatever. Well, if it's any more parts other than 5, I'm not recapping it, but I'm just gonna give y'all like a great synopsis of what this downfall of Diddy, which I think it at first it was on the ID Discovery Channel, but then it got on Max. But I think they're all the same company at this point. So anyway, the documentary kind of starts with this makeup artist who was doing shoots for Cassie during Grammy weekend in 2010, y'all. In 2010. And she was saying that she was staying at the Beverly Hills Hotel, and it's like a suite. And Diddy came in a rage one day, and they had some scuffling behind the door. And then Cassie came out, and she was bruised and wounded, and all these things. And then the makeup artist like, let's go. So she took her to she was saying like they couldn't go to a hospital. All throughout this documentary, I'm gonna go off sequence. I'm just gonna remember the things I said in the little notes that I jotted down. Everybody was scared of Diddy, so that's how the documentary starts. Like Cassie's beat up, she's bruised, battered, all these things, but she can't go to a hospital. She can't call the police because Diddy has that much power, and he flexes his power a lot, and he shows you like, I'm gonna show you. So that's kind of how the documentary starts. And so the makeup artist like finds a private physician to like help Cassie get herself together, because this is during the time that she was filming that movie. I forgot what that movie was. You wouldn't even never know she got beat up that day, and this was in 2010. Okay, remember the CNN video we saw was from 2016. So that been going on for a long time. But anyway, it kind of starts also too with the vibe editor, which like a lot of these stories I've heard before over the years. That's the thing though. It's a lot of complicit people when it comes to Diddy. Why haven't they been well, I know they've been listed in civil lawsuits, but like he's in prison. Why aren't they detained? Like his manager, Karen, something with a K. I didn't write her name down. Like she was his go-to, like his right man. Like on one part, he was doing the cheers and the toast to her. Like, you know, what did he say? I think it was like fifth pump of righteousness or some crazy crap. And she got on sunglasses. But anyway, then they go into like Puffy's upbringing. I think everybody thinks just because Puffy, you know, was from Harlem, you know, born in Harlem or something, that he was like in the hood, in the streets and stuff, like kind of like, I don't want to compare the two, but I'm just saying like Jay-Z grew up in Varsity Projects, broke, poor, you know, all those things. Puffy didn't grow up like that. Like I already knew that. And like they have a childhood friend on there that was explaining like he grew up, you know, with all the kids would walk outside like, what are you wearing? You know, he had all the flashy stuff, and they were saying like how his dad worked for Frank Lucas. If you don't know who Frank Lucas is, go watch the Denzel Washington movie American Gangster. That's Frank Lucas. He ran Harlem during that time. And so anyway, his dad was killed. And apparently, something else I found out in this documentary that I didn't know before was the fact that he didn't know the real truth about how his dad was killed until later on in life. I think they said, I can't remember what they said they told him, but he didn't know his dad was like pumed in the head, because apparently, you know, his dad, they say, was a snitch, and Frank Lucas had connections with the mafia, and you know, that. So anyway, they do a lot of go over his childhood upbringing and how like Janice Combs had to raise him alone. But she wasn't raising him alone in the projects, baby, like on welfare and trying to get, not child support, but on welfare in Section 8, baby. They moved to Mount Vernon. They left Harlem, moved to Mount Vernon. And if you know anything about like the East Coast and stuff, Mount Vernon was like one of the upper black people went to go live. So he lived a very privileged life. He went to private school. He went to Howard. I mean, like, Diddy wasn't struggling as a child. So that's what is perplexing to me in this whole thing is like, how did he become this monster? They do talk about parts of his upbringing where his mother was really strict on him, like, because he was flashy or whatever. You don't come home saying you got beat up. And honestly, that's kind of how parents were raising all of us during that time. I'm not old as Diddy, but like you gonna fight, you better win that fight. Don't come home unless you won that fight. So that was kind of the same thing. And then his childhood friend was also saying like some days she'll have her good days, and then sometimes she'll have her bad days and she'll take it out on him. I don't know if that we can just completely turn all of this on Janice Combs as the reason why Puffy became the monster that he is. But I mean, like, I guess she had something to do with it. Complicit. The key word for this video is gonna be complicit. So let's move on. He went to Howard, like I said. Even at Howard, they was showing this girl who was like, he was beating up some girl with a belt, like whooping with a belt. He had a history of violence early on of beating women, doing all the things. But he also had a history of being promoter, making great parties, being like this. He knew where he wanted to go and what he wanted to be. And to be a mogul, he aimed for that. And he worked himself to that. He went to Uptown. When he was at Uptown, that's when Mary came along. Andre Harrell was over Uptown, but Puffy was the intern. Then I think he became the A&R director. They didn't know what to do with Mary. He had Misa, who was his baby mama, Justin's mother, his first son, curate her look, real love, like all her sound, her beat, the My Life album, like all that is Puffy. Singing over a rap beat or rapping over a singing beat, like the R&B. That's why they call her the queen of hip hop soul. So like he had a niche for that. When I was watching the documentary in his early days, it's like he was focused because they put it into where, he had these certain people around him. Like when he got his deal with Clive Davis, after he got fired from Uptown, he got his deal with Clive Davis to give him his own record label. And everybody was laughing at him like, you think he's getting a record deal? I mean, making his own record label? Like, no, but he did. And then, so this PR person put him, Clive Davis put him in with this PR lady who was like, the creme de la creme of PR. And she was like, he would call, like, what is this? What is that? What is that? He was focused. And by the time this dude was 20 years old, he was already a millionaire. He was already a millionaire at 20 years old. So anyway, those are kind of the days where he was in his grind mode. He was super focused. He had Craig Mack pop up on the scene. Of course, Notorious B.I.G. blew up. Then he created the whole bad boy era, which if you go to my previous video, I did that was like a couple months ago, it was last year, a whole story about how the Diddy era, the Puffy bad boy era, like influenced me to want to be in the music industry, wanting to be signed to Bad Boy. Like it was like great songs, great music, great era. He had this thing where I like old school music. He had this thing where he would take like an old school beat, like for example, Biggie's first song, Juicy, comes from a group called Mutume, if y'all don't know. And they had this song called Juicy Fruit. You'll you say. And he took that beat and had Biggie rhyme on it. That's what made him really different from what was going on in the 90s as far as hip hop and rap during that time. So he was able to do that, just like One More Chance. And then, I mean, it's a lot of hits. It's a lot of hits. It is a lot of hits, but it's a lot of craziness too behind the scenes. Because I feel like y'all been knowing this man has been this way for all these since the 80s, since he was at Howard in the late 80s. Okay? And he continued to excel and excel and excel and excel. But it was also his grind mode. He knew what he wanted to be. So, I mean, a lot of it goes into, you know, how Bad Boy was created and all that in the documentary. You have, you know, they go into, you know, it seems like he's always shrouded around death, tragedy, and I'm gonna say broke people. Most of his artists are broke or are dead or tragedy. All of them. Look what happened to Biggie. Look what happened to Craig Mack. Look what happened. Look at everybody that's been a Bad Boy. Like, if you go, like I said, to my previous video, when I was like, I wanted to be signed a Bad Boy. Baby, God was looking out for me because, honey, okay? But throughout the documentary, they pull up, like, old clips, old things, old instances. Like, anything could, like, set him off. He was like, he had this knee-jerk reaction to, like, the smallest things that he wanted done, things done executed. He wanted things done his way. So then, you know, he blows up. He blows up. And then when they do the West Coast, East Coast thing, which I remember, I was young, but I remember, they made Suge Knight look like the big bad wolf. But on a sideline, in between time, in hindsight, I didn't even notice, y'all, that Death Row was trying to make a Death Row East. One of the promoters grabbed a shirt one day and Puffy chased this nigga on, like, oops, excuse me, this man, gotta watch my words, on a high-speed chase because he had on a Death Row East shirt. Like, he was pretending to be cut clean, all elegant, real sophisticated, base, oil in the white spaces, moving in the white world, getting all his things. Where Suge Knight was like the criminal, you know, not to say he's a great guy either. You know, he killed someone, probably a lot of people. But anyway, they compared the two, and they, like, this guy was telling the story like he was literally having a high-speed chase because he grabbed a Death Row East shirt, which I did not know that they were trying to put a Death Row East. They showed a clip of Tupac in New York, like, we taking over, da 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 da. Anyway, so after that, they go into, like, the, you know, the nightclub shooting, which we all know, the lady got shot. Sean took the charges. And then each time, if you notice, each time Puffy will come into a conflict, he would re-identify himself. When he was, after the thing that happened with the school, the College City disaster when those people died, he press tour, changed his image. Then, you know, with the J-Lo thing, with the shooting in the nightclub, he changed his name to Diddy. Then he came out with a clothing line, real high, fancy base, real classy, real demure. And he, like, had suits in, like, Bloomingdale's and Bergdorf's and all these things. Each time he would go through something, he knew how to play the media. I will say this, and I'm not defending this crazy man at all. He's very smart. He's very, very smart. He knows how to manipulate. Well, guess what? He's a narcissist. You know what? Now that I think about it, and I say to myself, and I say, self, most narcissists are smart. That's a crazy thing. But anyway, he was able to rebrand himself. He's Diddy now. He's fancy suits. He did Sean John. I remember when Justin's opened up, I think he opened up Justin's in Atlanta first. I remember my first time going to Atlanta years ago. I was like, I'm gonna go to Justin's. I'm gonna go. You could not get no reservations. Justin's was booked, okay, to capacity. So then after that, he ran a marathon. But in the between each of these things that he's doing, it's abuse, it's lawsuits, it's trauma, it's abuse, it's things that's just being swept under the rug. Under the rug. They, I guess now they're pulling out and declassifying files. I guess it got sealed or whatever. Of him beating this woman, him doing this, him chasing this, him threatening to pum somebody, him threatening to do this, unalive people, which allegedly, I think he did allegedly. I think he has. I mean, I remember going to New York and seeing after he won that marathon, it was a fist pump. He had his head bowed down. It was in the middle of Times Square. In the middle of Times Square. Meanwhile, he's beating and allegedly unaliving people and threatening people. So, I mean, the documentary kind of goes on a lot of things that I knew. I will say this, though, like, his parties, people talk about the white parties in the Hamptons that he used to produce. It seems to me Puffy had a goal in life to be here. He said that in part of the documentary, he felt like his hustle came from his daddy. His daddy was a hustler. But somewhere, the ego got too big and he lost the sight of what he was doing. But they was like, even the white parties, because I remember everybody's talking about the white parties. All the celebrities was there, baby. They got Aretha Franklin on the thing. Okay? He was promoting like Vote or Die in 2024. I remember that. You see like a young Obama, a Senator Obama, like, thank you, Puffy, for, coming out here and helping everybody. Like, he was doing things in the media to make himself like the good guy, black excellence. But behind all of that, this man is a demon. He's demonic. I don't care what nobody say. I don't care what nobody thinks. You can't blame his mama. You can't blame the industry. Inside of you to act the way you act, the things that I saw and I heard on this documentary is insanity. It's beyond insanity. It's beyond this world. It's like the devil have given him like this. Like he the son of Satan almost. But anyway, it was like a lot of YouTubers, influencers, like Lovey Sky was on there, and Lovey Sky would say like, I was getting what was going on at these parties, but I would report on them because Diddy will come after you. Even now in this documentary, people are like, I was afraid to say. I'm still afraid. His chef, some other chick he was messing with, like lots of people are like, I'm afraid. They're afraid. He has a lot of influence and a lot of power. I want to say though, the assistant segment of the documentary was the most intriguing to me, because a lot of the stuff I already knew, I already heard. Previous documentaries, I mean, everybody's done a documentary on Diddy at this point. Puffy, Diddy, Brother Love. That's another thing. Every time something happens, he changes his name. Crazy work. Crazy. Okay? Crazy. But anyway, the assistant documentary were him showing like and playing voice memos. I need 20 Xanax. I need 5 Adderall. I'm just listing off the things I remember him saying. I need, Celix, which is like a drug to help you, the men get their together. And I was like, you know what? When I was thinking to myself, I was like, self, I'm Scorpio. He's a Scorpio. We, Scorpios. Look, we Scorpios. Okay. But how much dang sex do you have to have? Every day he was sending his assistant, I need lube. I need this type of lube. The boy was like, sometimes he would be like, go around the bathtub, it'd be baby oil, he could slip and fall. It'd be blood in the room. He'd be like, he'll send him a voice memo. The room ain't looking too luxurious today. And he would go in there and be blood, and be stains, and be just like, what is wrong with you, Sean Combs? That's why I know at first people were like, he ain't getting no bail. Other people done worse. He need to stay in jail. I don't see how there's not going to be a juror in this country that's not have seen any of these documentaries. And like I said, it's a lot of documentaries. This one had me want to get on here to talk. I know about, like, even the Steve Stout thing. Like, he was mad because of the, you can hate me now, cause I won't stop now video with Nas. He was mad about the editing, and he didn't want MTV to play it, and he went in and beat the man up. Like, something is demonic. I don't know if he sold his soul to the devil. They say they do that in Hollywood. Don't want to be a part of it. No, God. I love Jesus Christ. He heard my cry. Okay? I love the Lord. And the rest of kind of documentary was just like drugs, sex, drugs, sex, drugs every day. They was like, he be drinking all day, and he just sending voice memos. I need the Plan B too. Oh, she may need some chocolate, or all these things. And of course the Cassie stuff is brought up, but everybody already know about all the Cassie stuff. I went into this documentary wanting to know something that I did not know. And a lot of things was like, I just have a question. How much sex can one person have? Like, I understand he's under the influence, and they show these very unflattering pictures, videos of him like dancing, and the system was like, every day was like a show, like a clown show. Like, it was a train wreck of him being high and just sex and high sex. Like, how much sex could somebody have? Like, what is wrong with you? And then in between time, in the meantime, if the women or the men didn't do what he want, he would beat them up or threaten them or threaten to unalive them. Like, the assistant kind of got uncomfortable when she was like, I would see some people sometimes, and then some people I wouldn't, and they pay into the ocean. Like, did he like throw people in the ocean? Because he loved to be in Florida, in Miami, their house in Florida, in Miami. That's the way that's what he liked to be. He liked to be in the sun and stuff, the heat, and he's right at the the bay and all those things. But I came away from this documentary very disturbed. I would say very disturbed, because I remember, go back, please, if you're new to my channel, go back and listen to my story about me wanting to be a part of Bad Boy, because I thought I was a singer. And to know, like, they had, the girl from Danny Kane, D Woods, who went missing for a while. Like, I didn't know where D Woods went, but now she explained, and then what I took away from this, everybody's still scared. Even though he in jail, everybody is still scared of this man. Like, he is a demon. Like, there's one chick that he had met and then COVID happened. She went to Toronto, couldn't see him, and came back. And she said he kept giving her little innuendos, like, I'm trying to be different, i.e. Cassie, than my last relationship. And then one night he was getting high on the Tussie or whatever that posse or whatever that crap is that he was doing. And he couldn't sleep and did, violated her. And they showed journals. Even the chef had journals. Like, that, it was one point where they were saying in the documentary when the chef was like traumatized, to her doctor was saying, she was a cardiologist, the doctor was saying, guess what, girl, you're not gonna live if you keep working at this job. And then the staff was like, welcome to the club. You done made it now, girl. You're official, because you about to die, because this man is insane and crazy and demonic. I also want to know, has been in the streets for a long time. Like, I ain't know the details. You know, you hear things, whatever. You don't know, but you see Puffy on, he glitz and glamour, shiny suit. Very charismatic, very charming type of dude. And everybody forgets the darkness. But everybody always says it's a flip to him. He good. That's how he used to lure the women back in. He be good. And he give you all the things, take you, like the girl was like, oh, he take me to Italy on the coast and on a yacht and all these things. But then a shift happens. Nobody knows why this shift happens. Might be a lot of the drugs he was doing. I'm surprised this man is still alive. They was like ketamine, GHB, 20 Xanax, Adderall, meth. Baby, I'm surprised he's still even alive. Like has he? Well, you know, he's rich, so I'm sure he has the best doctors in the world to fix whatever could be wrong with him. But I remember when he did that BET speech, which they brought up in this documentary too, when they gave him his things at that BET award. It was Babyface and Kanye. Kanye had his whole face covered up. You know, Kanye is weird. And he did that shout out to Cassie. They said that's what triggered her to file the lawsuit. But anyway, I remember looking at him like, oh my God, like he's aging back. He was doing all the drugs every day, all day. Like the assistants constantly, like, he was like, it'd be an hour. No, he'll be like, it'd be like a couple hours, then it'll become another hour, then sometimes minutes of bringing more drugs, more things, more this. Baby, how about the safe where all the drugs are stored? The code to the safe is 1, 2, 3, 4. The lady was like, is the safe 1, 2, 3, 4? He was like, yes, it's 1, 2, 3, 4. And you had to prove your allegiance to him, your loyalty. And the assistant had to do something that he was very unhappy about, very uncomfortable talking about. And I just want to say this. Wendy Williams said it. Look what she at. He got her fired from the radio station in New York. That's why she wound up in Philadelphia doing radio. People have been saying this for years. There's a lot of complicit people. Why they ain't being called to the carpet? Where's this assistant manager? Because she was an assistant manager. She was like his right hand woman. I forget her name. Starts with a K. And that's who the assistant said he would report to. So when they say he ran this like an organized crime, you know, a RICO, basically, I see it. It's clear. Because you have like, if you work in corporate America, you know, you have hierarchies to things. You have your assistants, you have your manager, and then you have your principal. And Puffy was the principal. And whatever the principal wanted, the principal got. And she ran the ship. Why hasn't she been charged? Because she just is as complicit as him. Because the personal assistant was showing messages to, like, you gotta clean up the room. You gotta get this. You need to bring baking soda to clean blood. Blood? Like, why is that? Y'all, why is there fucking blood? What the fuck? I'm trying not to cuss. Why is there blood? And then the lady was like, you know, King Night. So that's another thing too. Like, Cassie put in her thing called freak offs. The assistant was saying he didn't never heard of freak offs. They called it King Night. Because Puffy really thinks he's a king. Like, he's so detached from reality. I hope he's in that detention center in Brooklyn. I hope Jesus come down and have a sit in a meeting with him. Cause something wrong with you. And I mean, everybody's like, why he can't get no bun? The Abercrombie man got a bun. All the other people no, he don't need no bun. Cause he gonna do all the things. All of the things that these people are alleged that he said are, it's like, it's crazy. He is not he's not human. Like, he has to be the spawn of Satan. Has to be. Janice, did you create the spawn of Satan? Is he the Antichrist? Child. But anyway, I kept thinking, I'm like, oh my God, like how it was nothing but drugs, sex, drugs, sex, drug, sex, beating, sex, drugs, sex, beating, sex, drug, beating, sex. What is wrong with you? And then what he would do is use his leverage, his power, his resources. Like he told the girl from Canada, I can get you deported, all the things. I went all off, not in order of the series, but that was the basis of the series. And at first, like I said, I was not going to do the downfall of Diddy. I was not going to do it because so many documentaries will come out and it'd be like the same thing over and over again. But this is like, especially seeing like some of the footage and hearing some of the voice notes from his assistants, like, what is wrong with you? He needs to go to the, like, so if he is convicted in May, they can send him to the psychiatric part of the jail, and get some priests and some bishops, some holy water, some sage, because that man is crazy. Okay, crazy. Anyway, I'm gonna end my video again, girl. When I was younger, do you remember when I was younger? I told y'all in a previous video I recorded last year, I wanted to be a boy, bad boy. Praise Jesus. Hallelujah. Thank you, Jesus. Cause I just, child. And it's not funny because there's a lot of victims, but I'm getting all worked up because it's insane. It's insanity and how people let this go on for so long. But he put on he knew how to play the. One thing he's not dumb. He's a demon, but he's not dumb. He knew how to play the media. He knew how to play people. He's very charismatic. And when I was looking at him a lot in his earlier days, I see that son, Christian, look just like him, move just like him. I don't see that too much with Justin. I mean, Justin don't really be out there like I see, like with my algorithms, but Christian do. Baby, them twin girls, they ain't even got their mama no more. And apparently, he was hiding this from everybody. Like the assistant said, he would scrub everything. So when board of directors or executives will come in, everything will be scrubbed just in case they need to put up a PowerPoint presentation on his iPad or something. Everything will be scrubbed. That was his job. Assistant, I feel like you're a little complicit too. I know that was your job, but when I see something wrong, and you may get retaliated against, trust and believe, I know. You gotta speak up. How you stuff women in Ubers and set them home and they shivering and shaking, and oh my God, it's never happened to me before. Try anyway. That's my recap on the downfall of Diddy. It was on ID channel, but now it's on HBO MAX, and it was 5 parts. If there's any more parts, I won't be recapping them. You can watch them for yourself, but the Jesus Christ himself need to come down and sit in Diddy's cell or wherever he is located in that Brooklyn jail and have a talk with him. Have a little talk with Jesus, Diddy, Puffy, Love. That's another thing. Every time he would change. Anyway, Miss B, that's my recap on the downfall of Diddy. Watch it yourself. And like I said, at first, I thought I was not going to recap it because I'm like, oh, what I already know. But it was a couple things in there I didn't know. Like listen to the assistant's voice notes and stuff like that. Like how he had to have this shit packed up. And you see him in pictures like out in public with the assistant behind him with like the thing of all his drugs, the mushrooms, the Xanax, the Adderall, all the things. Diddy is 55, I believe. How are you? He gotta be Satan, because how the heck he still alive? Doing all that every day. Every day. How much sex can one person take? And he kept asking for Cialis, and Viagra, and this and this and this. I'm like, oh my child. Oh God. Anyway, I'm gonna just let y'all go. Watch it, y'all. Like I said, it was on ID channel, now it's on HBO MAX. Watch it in full. I don't know if it's gonna be more than 5 parts again. If it is, I won't recap it. But I'm going to go watch my show Harlem. What a segue, right? Diddy's from Harlem. I want to move to Harlem. I love the show Harlem. I'm not matching the two. I'm just saying. Okay. Anyway, bye y'all.